Okay, at 6:30, we're going to call the meeting to order. I want to welcome everyone to the Grant County Fiscal Court meeting, January the 8th. We're holding it at 6:30. If we could, I'd like to introduce Barry Robinson. He's the minister at Wingtown Methodist Church. He'll be doing our invocation tonight. And if everyone could stand and continue to stand until we do the invocations. Thank you.
Lift our heads. Dear Heavenly and Gracious Father, we're so grateful for another year that is on us. Lord, thank you for the leaders that have been chosen. Lord, pray that everything we do in this time, that will be according to your will. Grant wisdom to us, and Lord, remind us that what a wonderful privilege it is to serve and to live in Grant County. For in Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Y'all may be seated. Before I get started tonight, I just want to let you know that we're going to be filming this live on Facebook on the Grant County Fiscal Court's new Facebook page. Also, it'll be recorded to go on our website. So we're going to be continuing to put these meetings on Facebook, also our website, and then also here, hopefully the next month, we'll have a permanent camera where we can do this permanent without stationary cameras. If I can get the clerk to call roll.
Reginald Riley.
Present.
Reginald Kolar.
Present.
Reginald Humphrey.
Present.
Okay, first matter is approval of the minutes. I need to present a motion for approval of the minutes dated December 17, 2018, and the minutes of the special meeting dated December 21st, 2018. When ready, I just need a motion.
Judge Dills, having read both minutes of December 17th and 21st, I make a motion that we approve the minutes, please.
I will second.
We have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any no? Motion passes. Next matter is fiscal matters. Need to present for review the motion to approve the claims drawn on the general fund, road fund, jail fund dated January 8th, along with transfers as presented.
I make a motion to present the claims presented this evening dated January 8th for the road fund, jail fund, and general fund, along with the requested transfers as presented from the treasurer.
I'll second.
I have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Present the review for the quarterly cash position report for October, November, December 2018, and there's no action required. Move on down to number 3. If the clerk, if I could have you read the motion.
What we have is, we have 3 stop payments. If you all desire, I'll read each one of them. You all can do it with one motion for all 3 checks.
Sure.
So we're going to present for a motion to stop payment on check number 26192, which was dated August 28, 2018, in the amount of $25 and made payable to Gary Huff. Check is 90 days outstanding, was never presented for payment. The second check is check number 26194, dated August 28, 2018 as well, in the amount of $25, made payable to Tanya Jackson. Once again, the check is 90 days outstanding, was never presented for payment. The third check is number 26199, dated August 28, 2018, in the amount of $25 and made payable to Brandy Walls. This check is over 90 days outstanding and never presented for payment.
I make a motion that we stop payment on those 3 checks read by the clerk.
I second.
Have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our next would be the resolution, if you could read that, clerk.
This is resolution number 2019-01. Be it hereby resolved that Tabitha Clemens, Grant County Clerk, wishes to decline being the fiscal court clerk of Grant County and would like to delegate that position to whomever the fiscal court wishes to appoint.
I ask for a motion. And I've got an executive order, you all probably already read, is appointing Pat Conrad, who's been the fiscal court clerk for a number of years, to continue that service.
So a motion on the resolution?
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion on the resolution as read by the current clerk, acknowledging that Tabitha Clemens has declined serving the Grant County as the Grant County Fiscal Courts Clerk, and that Ms. Patricia Conrad will continue to serve in this capacity.
I'll second.
All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We move on down to personnel. We're going to be reappointing positions due to this is a new term for the elected officials. So if I could have the clerk read number 1 out of personnel.
In executive order, this is executive order number 2019-02. An executive order appointing Patricia Conrad to the position of Finance Director and Executive Assistant in the Office of the Grant County Judge Executive as an at-will employee at her current rate of pay for an indeterminate period of time, not to exceed 4 years. Mrs. Conrad will also continue to serve as the fiscal court clerk.
I make a motion to approve Executive Order 2019-02 as presented.
I will second.
I have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 2, executive order.
This will be executive order number 2019-03. An executive order appointing Melissa Moss to the position of Human Resource Officer and Administrative Assistant in the Office of the Grant County Judge Executive as an at-will employee at her current rate of pay for an indeterminate period of time, not to exceed 4 years.
I'll make a motion to approve Executive Order 2019-03, appointing Melissa Moss to the position of Human Resource Officer, Administrative Assistant.
I second.
All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 3.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, let
I had to make a correction.
Pat catch up here a second.
I think I missed,
The 01.
We
We can go back.
Yeah.
We can go back.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think I missed that to reset the, I don't know why.
Yes.
I don't seem to have that one in my
We
packet.
didn't do it. I already voted, no, we need to go back, so we can go back now.
This is my first meeting, you gotta bear with me.
That's my fault. I'm gonna take responsibility for this one. So I'm gonna read the executive order number 2019-01, and this will set the dates of the fiscal court meetings at the Grant County Fiscal Court to be held on the 1st and 3rd Tuesdays of each month, effective January 7th, 2019. And these will be at 6:30 in the evening.
Okay, before I ask for a motion, I just wanted to explain, the meetings for a number of years have been on Monday nights at 7 o'clock. After trying to look at some different calendars of some court meetings and city council meetings, and we're gonna have some dialogue with Dry Ridge City and also AMR on our ambulance needs, I thought it was sort of important that we switch these meetings to Tuesday, so we were able to attend their meetings, at least to get that. This is nothing that may be permanent. We may keep it that way, but it's at least temporary down the road so that we can discuss these important dialogues. So I need a motion for this.
I make a motion on executive order number 2019-01, changing the date of our regular court meetings.
I second.
With a second, I need all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, I believe we're ready now for executive order 2019-04.
That's
Got
right.
it.
executive order appointing Colton Simpson to the position of Grant County Tax Administrator as an at-will employee at his current rate of pay for an indeterminate period of time not to exceed 4 years.
I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Executive Order 2019-04, appointing James Colton Simpson to the position of Grant County Tax Administrator.
I will second.
I have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Judge, I just want to comment, I just want to say that Colton has did an outstanding job as being the tax administrator thus far. I just wanted to interview.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Cole.
Okay, our next one is executive order number 2019-05, which is an executive order appointing Steve Tatum to the position of Grant County Road Supervisor as an at-will employee at his current rate of pay for an indeterminate period of time not to exceed 2 years.
I need a motion.
I make a motion to approve Executive Order 2019-05, appointing Steve Tatum as County Road Supervisor as an at-will for a period of time not to exceed 2 years.
I'll second.
I have a second, and I'll try to ask this time, is any discussions? If not, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next executive order is number 2019-06, an executive order appointing the employment of all county employees at the road department, animal shelter, parks, courthouse, EMA director and staff, and judicial center at their current salaries at will for an indeterminate period of time not to exceed 4 years.
I need a motion for this executive order.
I make a motion for Executive Order 2019-06, appointing all employees at the road department, animal shelter, parks, courthouse, judicial center, EMA director, and staff at will at their current salaries for an indeterminate period of time not to exceed 4 years.
I'll second.
I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next executive order is number 2019-07. I, Chuck Dills, Judge Executive of the County of Grant, hereby per KRS 67.592, designate Grant County Sheriff Brian Maines as property custodian of seized and forfeited property.
I need a motion.
Make a motion to approve Executive Order 2019-07, relating to designating Sheriff Brian Maines as property custodian of seized and forfeited property.
I'll second.
I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we're getting into ordinance. If you want to present the ordinance, clerk, magistrate.
This is ordinance number 01-2019-0223, an ordinance relating to an emergency amendment number 2 to the annual budget to realize unbudgeted receipts from the Grant County PSCC and prior year carryover from the Grant County Road Department. This will enable us to be able to purchase a new dump truck to replace the one that's been deemed to be totaled.
And this was for all of you to know out in the audience, this dump truck was, during the last ice storm, it had slid off the roadway and was totaled. So this is an emergency order to get it replaced before any snow comes in.
And this was one of the new units that the prior governing body had purchased roughly 3 years ago or so.
And then the other transfer in is the $100,000 that the E91 board decided they wanted to pay against the note that they borrowed to replace all the equipment. And so we paid that to the bank. We paid that loan for them $100,000, and so they've given us that money to put back into the bank.
So is this two separate ones? So for the actual ordinance itself, it's two separate matters? Is there
No,
another?
well, it's
No,
actually two
it's
matters.
all in
It's
one
the
ordinance.
same.
We're just just doing
Okay,
two
just wanted to
things.
clarify, okay.
Because it's an emergency, we won't need to do a first reading on it, so I'll need a motion.
Make a motion, we approve ordinance number 01-2019-0223.
I second.
Have a second, is there any further discussion on it? Was it covered? If not, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving down to appointments, if you can read number 1, appointments. And these are to the Tourism Commission boards. And Jamie Baker, who's involved and in charge of that board, I spoke to her earlier on the phone. She had a prior engagement, wasn't able to make it, but I've discussed all these with her, and these are reappointments.
I can do all these as one if you desire that, or we can read them separately in motion, make a motion, make one of them separate, whatever you choose me to do.
You can do them all,
All right.
the same, as long as.
Since they're the same board, I don't see no.
First one is a reappointment for Randy Slayback. It reads, I, Chuck Dills, Grant County Judge Executive, do hereby reappoint Randy Slayback to serve as a member of the Grant County Tourist and Convention Commission. Said term is for a 3-year term, is retroactive to January 1st, 2019, and will expire on December 31st, 2021. The second one, I, Chuck Dills, Grant County Judge Executive, do hereby reappoint Dave Schrader to serve as a member of the Grant County Tourist and Convention Commission. Said term is for a 1-year term and is retroactive to January 1st, 2019, and will expire on December 31st, 2019. The third reappointment, I, Chuck Dills, Grant County Judge Executive, do hereby reappoint Ed Clements to serve as a member of the Grant County Tourist and Convention Commission. Said term is for 1 year, is retroactive to January 1st, 2019, and to expire on December 31st, 2019. And the reason for that, these terms are staggered, so that they don't all go off or come on at the same time.
I make a motion to reappoint Randy Slayback, David Schrader, and Ed Clemens to the Grant County Tourism and Convention Commission as read by the clerk with the stated terms.
I second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Brings us down to new business. Pat, if you can present number 1 in new business.
This is for Mike.
Yes, please.
Okay. Judge Dills would like to present for a motion to approve, at the request of Mike Webster, jailer, Grant County jailer, to accept bail bonds in accordance with KRS 432.5304. And if you all remember, 4 years ago, we did this for the jailer as well.
We all understand why the jailer needs to collect bonds, correct?
Yes, sir.
I need a motion.
I make a motion, we approve the request of Jailer Mike Webster to accept bail bonds in accordance with KRS 432.5305.
I will second.
I have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, Judge Executive Dills would like to present for a motion to approve all bonds for elected officials taking office on January 7th, 2019.
Make a motion to approve all bonds for elected officials taking office on January 7th, 2019.
I will second.
Have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're getting down to departmental reports. Present for review for reports from the animal control officer, the building inspector's office, the road department for the month of December 2018. No action required. You all have that in front of you.
Judge Dills, I just wanted to acknowledge that the road department's report is extremely lengthy. I believe that those gentlemen have been best of their ability to keep up with the condition of our roads, and especially the condition of roads in District 1 as it pertains to the railroad closure. So I just want to acknowledge some jobs well done, and frankly, what probably seems like a never-ending list of work that needs to be done, because there is no doubt that I'm not on the phone with Mr. Tatum or Clint Bruce multiple times a week, and I think it's just becoming a lot to keep up with, and I think that their report reflects that, from filling potholes to trying to keep the sides of the road cleaned off, and then thank goodness we haven't had the amount of snow that we could have had, but we certainly have had wet weather, so I am very optimistic for the bids to come back on the emergency funds that we, got from FEMA to get those roads addressed, and very anxious to get started on some other repairs that are needed.
Yeah, I commend them also. And then moving down to, was anybody else, or I was going to move on down to the Judge Executive's report. And I met with Steve Tatum, our road supervisor, today to cover, and also I'm going to have the jailer, but future agendas, taking office yesterday, didn't have an opportunity to really put a lot together, but what you'll see on agendas in the future will be reports from the jailer. The sheriff will be doing a monthly report of activity with the sheriff's office, along with magistrate reports, reporting from their districts. So if we could first, before I go into a few things I have to say, Steve, if you could just bring up, when we talked, one of them, there's two major concerns going on that we're faced with. One up, well, there's more than two.
Only two?
I'm talking about road part. Well, besides the slippages that they're working diligently on to get that done, but also the bridge with the railroad. I commend Jacqueline Riley, our magistrate, for taking the forefront of it, of getting out with the railroad. I've paid several visits along with the other magistrates on site to see that they're getting forms poured for the bridge on Delaney Road. The other is Jameson. If I can get Steve just to...
Speaking of Jamison, look who comes in. Residents that are affected by that road. Not to put you on the spot.
On Jameson Road, I contacted the contractors that got the bid. They said it would be a minimum of 20 days before it could start, but more like 30, because he's on a big project in Carroll County, which is over 460 rails. He has to drill over there for FEMA. But he said as soon as he gets that job done, he will start on ours, because it's close. You don't have to move as far to the next job site. So hopefully, weather permitting, we'll get started on that a maximum of 30 days from now. And on the bridges, North Delaney Road and North Blanchard Road bridges, the railroad is tearing them down. They're taking them out. And when they do that, we'll have to change those ends of those roads from closed to no outlet. As soon as they get them done, whenever they get them done.
Which means signs, different signs put up.
Yeah, it has to go from road closed to no outlet, because there's no bridge there, so the road stops.
Which, my understanding, like I said, this is just day two for me, but backing up, because we was talking about Jameson, a few weeks ago, I was out with the engineers looking at the project on Jameson. I wanted to get stuff going immediately when I took office. These are a priority, it's an emergency issue to get this stuff done. So, I feel comfortable after talking to the engineer. The contractor is well recommended. He does a lot of work for the state. And after talking to Steve Tatum today and prior to today, that I feel comfortable as soon as they finish this other job, that they'll be right on Jameson. So I hope that we can get your road fixed quick as possible.
And Chuck, did we want to acknowledge that we did receive we were approved emergency funding from the Department of Transportation to help with the financial burden of fixing Jamison Road. So we just got confirmation of that late last week.
Yes, so it looks like majority, what is it, 80%? It's,
80/20.
Is it
Yeah.
34,000?
It is more than
It was more
80%.
than 80%,
Yeah.
for that one, like $7,000.
Yeah, it looks
Shy.
like the county's gonna be approximately, don't hold me to it, about $4,000 of the whole project. So,
That helps a
and
lot.
I appreciate Jacqueline's work on that, following up on it. We recognize we're a team, we gotta do it together, so everything's working well. As far as the railroad, and you spoke on it, if Jacqueline wants to
Oh,
briefly.
Well, the railroad is just, it has been interesting, and I think many in this audience can attest, we've learned a lot over the past several weeks as it pertains to these projects. And for those of you that haven't been following this, just to recap, there are 4 bridges that run parallel down US 25 that cross over Norfolk Southern's Railroad Bridge. And all 4 of them, prior to Thanksgiving holiday, were shut down. 2 of them were shut down earlier. So long story short, the great thing is that those railroad bridges have been on the state transportation's radar to replace for many, many years. In fact, to the reality that they've been a part of the 6-year highway plan. And back in April of 2018, Damon Thayer had messaged and said that those bridges and the connector road were brought forth in the governor's 2-year modified plan. What wasn't clear at that time is what that meant, and that meant financially the funding would start and be available in 2019, not 2018. And so there is significant progress being made on those bridges through environmental studies, to land being acquired from residents, and even further said to the reality that an outfit out of New York has been stationed in the Corinth area since Friday, demolishing 2 of those bridges, which means you have to get rid of the bridges before you can implement new structure. And so there is progress being made. And then also to the Delaney Bridge, another outfit out of Cincinnati, I think Benton Rigging, that is who is working on the repairs to get that Delaney Bridge reopened so that it is adequately, so it's safe for us over the next few years, because that particular bridge will not be replaced until a little bit further out, probably further, the 2 to 3 year plan, if you will. And so, long story short, one of the bridges did go to bid, or goes to bid later this month in January, with the anticipation that whoever is the successful bidder on that they would start, likely, early spring of this year on the replacement. And so there will be 2 new bridges in that area, and then 1 connector road as well. And then we've got plans here in the office for anyone that cares to know the nitty-gritty as far as the blueprint plans of what this looks like. But the reality is, as we've hashed out up here many times, when the other 2 bridges closed before Thanksgiving holiday, it really put a burden on our county roads, because frankly, those county roads are some of the worst roads as far as condition-wise in the overall county. Partnered with the fact, with Les Whalen and the road department, one of the particular roads has 2 areas that is underneath FEMA requests because it's slipping. And so we're optimistic that we'll get bids back here shortly so that we can work back with the citizens. We've collected email addresses from when they came up here last month to coordinate with them as to when that road's closed, so that those 6 families or so won't be landlocked on Blanchett Road. So it's kind of long-winded, and it's been very complicated. We fortunately wrestled down a government relations representative from Norfolk Southern, and then the folks at District 6 up at Buttermilk Pike from the state. They've been great to work with. Anytime I've emailed them to ask them an update, they've been very responsive. And the reality is now we're just waiting, for those bridges to be demolished, and for the bids to come back, and the process to work through itself.
Well, thank you. Also on the judge's executive report, I wanted to have Jailer Mike Webster. If you want to come up to the podium, everybody can hear you. And obviously, this is day 2 for the jailer, so bear with what information he's gonna be able to provide.
Just real shortly, I wanted to give you an inmate count so everybody's aware of kind of the financial side of the inmate count. We have 306 state inmates currently. We have 50 county inmates. And I'm also holding under contract 3 other counties, 1 inmate for 3 other counties. So there's 3 other county inmates that are under contract with us.
Okay.
It's been a busy couple of days. The next report will be a lot more informative, but I thought the people have asked many times for the number of inmates, and I wanted to make sure they got it.
And he has been busy. I was over at the jail the night that he took office, and there's a lot of just sort of things that needs to be tidied up. So, and they're on top of it. Is your chief deputy here tonight?
No, she is not.
His chief deputy, they've got a real good team that I'm confident, I believe the magistrates will echo that they'll be able to take the jail to a whole different level, where we can start generating some more revenue into it and try to keep the expenses down. Thank you, Mike, for the work you're doing.
Thank you.
I don't think I have anybody else on the report. Also want to report, one of the claims that we approved, it was discussion in past meetings, was the purchase of a skid loader for the 109 board that would be utilized by the 109 board, also by Les Whalen with emergency EMA. One of the claims, as I said, we approved was a skid loader. We were able to locate a nice, very nice used one in good shape for, was it $12,500. So now that it's been approved, I'll go ahead and make notification to the owner of it tomorrow. We'll get the bill of sales, get that transferred, get it out to the old road department where, and Brian Miles is with us in the back, they'll be able to use it for the shredded tires. Excuse me. Then also, I spoke briefly with Les Whalen. I want to commend him on all the grants he's wrote in the past. I've got to see that he's good about sending email notifications, and I'll be working with him on getting some grants for the attachments. Now, the skid loader came with 2 buckets. One of them was one they definitely needed at the 109 board, and then we can look at the sweepers, several other things to be used for hazardous cleanup, and also for the 109 board to use. So I just wanted to report on that from past meetings. Yes, and I want to, the Old County Road Department across from the library, there's a lot of debris and stuff. I've met with Les and also talked to Steve Tatum about getting that stuff cleaned up, and they're going to be right on getting that done. There's a bunch of just trash, metal, things that just need to be cleaned up, and they've recognized it along with us, and they're going to be right on it. Thanks to Les for jumping up and taking care of it. As I said, in the future, I'm going to add on a magistrate's report. We'll start with you, Magistrate 1, Jacqueline Riley.
I think I said in my piece, I've been spending the bulk of my time just trying to get clear, adequate updates from Norfolk Southern Railroad and working back with our county road department on those roads, and then have done various follow-ups on state roads with the state barn as well, just cleaning back those roads. So that's where I've been spending the bulk of my time.
And before I go to Magistrate Codarn, District 2, most of you know, but for the ones that don't know, Magistrate 1, I'm not going to give you specific boundaries, is the south end of the county, Williamstown South, basically. Magistrate Codarn covers the central part of the county, which is the Dry Ridge area, east-west of that. And then newest magistrate, along with me, and also Stephen Bates, our county attorney, he is District 3 that covers the Crittenden area. So between Dry Ridge and Crittenden, he's north of that to the King County line. So, Magistrate Codarn?
Okay, I think we've talked a lot about Jameson Road already, so you all know the disposition or the position on that at this time. Also, I was glad to see us change the meeting that we have from Monday to Tuesday. Now that makes me more available to go to the Dry Ridge Council meetings, which is in my district, and I can be better informed of what's going on there. So I hope to give more updates in the future. I just encourage anyone, if you've got potholes or anything you want to report, you're more than welcome to call me. Oh, well, you can call Steve Tatum. Because what I'm gonna do is turn around and call Steve Tatum. So, yeah, because we don't want things to go undone. We're not fix them as fast as maybe you would like, but at least, you know, we can get them on the agenda.
And to add the Manager's Code on, last night at the Railroad City Council meeting, Sean and myself were able to attend that meeting. So it makes it nice for us to be able to attend these other council meetings, especially with some concerns we have coming into the future. Magistrate Humphrey.
Well, in District 3, Crittenden always meets on a Tuesday night. They've historically met on Tuesday night for the regular meeting. It doesn't appear they're going to be able to change their meeting night at the present time for some other reasons, but they are having some caucus meetings, and I've been attending the caucus meeting. Attended that last night, got some input from them on what they would like to see and what be a liaison between the county and them. Very, very positive group of people in city council there now. You're going to see a lot of changes on the north end of the county, I'm sure. As far as out in the county, the districts, I've been checking on the roads, looking at the road, making a lot of notations. Haven't had a chance to get with Steve or the judge yet to go over these things that I'm finding, but we'll go get on them and get things brought back up to par.
Okay, with that said, any other discussions on?
No, thank you for modifying our arrangements up here and being open to feedback. I genuinely appreciate that.
Thank you. Moving on, we're down to citizens' address. Is there anyone that would like to come up to the podium and has any concerns that needs to address the court? No one? Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to adjourn.
This meeting will go to the other.
You're going to announce that we're going to have public property.
Yeah, immediate following, we're going to adjourn this meeting, and following it, we're going to have a public properties meeting. I will just remind the court, in case somebody leaves, they'll want to stick around, which this next meeting is real short. Our next meeting will be January the 22nd, Tuesday, January 22nd, 2019 at 6:30 here in the Grant County Courthouse. I need a motion to adjourn this meeting and go into our next meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting.
I'll second the motion.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, you're all welcome to this meeting. Just take a few minutes. I'm going to call to order our next meeting, which is a meeting containing to the Public Properties Corporation. And okay, the first thing on the agenda, we need to elect new officers for the next 4 years. I would suggest that Jacqueline would be our secretary and Shauna is our treasurer. And they've held those positions in the past. I would preside as the president and ask for Magistrate Humphrey to be vice president. I need a motion.
I make a motion that Judge Dill serves as the president, Roger Humphrey as vice president, myself as secretary, and Shauna Coldiron as treasurer over the Public Properties Corporation.
I'll second.
I have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2 is to approve the minutes of the April 16, 2018 Public Properties Corporation.
I think you all have a copy of this.
We do.
Did I give you the wrong thing, Jacqueline?
No.
Okay.
It's good. It's just been a long time since I've seen these.
It was April of last year.
Yeah.
Jacqueline, did you just sign the one that you have with all this? Secretary. Thank you. You sign it. She will.
approve the minutes of April the 16th, 2018 on the Public Properties Corporation meeting.
I will second.
I have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Let her sign that.
Motion carries.
She can hand it back to me. Look.
And number 3 is the whole reason we actually are here. We need to approve the payment of Public Properties Corporation for the treasurer's bond in the amount of $407.20.
I make a motion to approve the payment of the Public Properties Corporation Treasurer's Bond in the amount of $407.20.
I second.
Who's our second from?
That's you, Colton.
That's Codar. Okay.
He's yielding to the.
We have a second. All in favor? Say
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That ends our business this evening. We'll be re-adjourned for January.
You better check it. I need you to sign that, Sean. Jackie, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Who voted?
I-
Approve the
I
minutes.
made,
The minutes. Was that you first and then?
Minutes were Shauna,
Me
and
first.
then I second, and then
Okay,
we were
Sean
on.
and then you.
Yep. And then-
I need a motion that we can, to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn our Public Properties Corporation meeting.
I need a
I'll
second.
second.
I have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And then, as I said, January 22nd at 6:30, we'll be back with the regular fiscal court meeting. Thank you all for coming out tonight.